I am poetry.
I am the living experience. I am the lifelong proof. Color me the poetry of nothing but the truth.
Color me a love child lost in the promised land. I am a poem for black hearts. Go.
Hi, I'm Danny Queen, and welcome to another exciting day of Color Me Poetry today. We have a beautiful, wonderful guest, and she's the right raw Reverend, in the person of Reverend Dr. Jackie Nelson. Sister, so glad to have you here to come with us on Color Me Poetry today. I have admired your work. I have admired your ministry for many, many years, and you've helped me out in more ways than you can imagine with your sermons at the temple.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. Now you've been in the ministry for many years.
Yes, I have.
How'd you get started in the ministry?
I started as a missionary years ago and was elevated to being a deaconess in the church. Then God called me to the ministry in 1989.
Wow.
That's when I preached my initial sermon. I was ordained in 1991 and been preaching and teaching ever since.
I remember that, but I was still a baby then, though.
Oh, don't try it, don't try it, don't try it.
Yeah, I remember when I came to the temple and your family was singing, you know, and I remember your son Neil, my friend, the beating. You know what out of the drums? I said, Lord have mercy, that boy beat the drums like that.
Yeah, God bless him.
God bless him, man. He had a gift,
Mm-hmm.
as you all did when you all would sing, you know. And so this has been a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
you know. And so well, at that time you wasn't writing, but you've written several books now.
I wrote, I teach Bible school, so God inspired me to collaborate messages that I have preached and to put them in teaching form. And through these books,
God Speak, We Listen.
Yes, God Speaks, We Listen. I've put in about 12 of my sermons, and from them we teach Bible study.
Wow. So
to help people grow and mature in their walk with God.
In the spiritual walk. So God Speak, We Listen. It came about from some of your collection of your sermons.
Yes, inspired by my oldest daughter, Dr. Charlene Scott. She said, Mom, let's do something with these messages that God has given you, and I gave them to her, and this is the product.
Wow. So Charlene helped you put that thing together.
Yeah, Charlene.
Charlene knows how to put things together.
Yes,
she always did this.
Yes, she does.
Music and producing and stuff. She always had that, and I always admired and loved her. I said, this girl knows what she's doing. You know, yeah. And it's good to have somebody who, you know, is family.
Yeah, she pushed me. She said, Mom, you're sitting on jewels, so you may as well get them out.
She used to say it. She used to put it that way.
And it all started, I think in 2002. I think I started my writing in 2002. I remember I used to work for Bank of America in Baltimore, and I used to always go down to the harbor and walk on my lunchtime. And my first writing was God Knows, and I got that as I was walking. And so I got back to my office and I took a pen and wrote down everything, and that's where my writings began.
Wow, God Speak, We Listen.
But this is that God Speaks, We Listen is not part of this, but God Speaks, We Listen is in my new book called Raw, Relevant and Wise Writings from the pen of Reverend Jackie Nelson.
So there's actually a poem entitled God Speak, We Listen?
No.
Okay.
No, that's just the
inspiration?
No, that's just a book with my collaboration of sermons and this. And my daughter said, what do you want to call it? So it comes from the Bible, which I speak from and preach from. So God is talking to us, and I know there are other things that God is not saying every word, but I want to let people know that when God speaks, we listen.
God speaks through us. Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about it. To those who listen. Sometimes we're not listening.
Yes,
Because
that is true.
sometimes we don't know to listen.
Right.
And it's that way, because sometimes he's speaking, but we say, well, I don't know, you know. But as a writer, sometimes it comes through. Sometimes it comes through experience. Sometimes it comes through people you know, something you read. I can be inspired by anything.
Me too.
It comes through. How do you write, Sister? Sister Nelson?
It just comes. I could be watching TV, see an event that's
Do you have to be in a
going on.
special place?
No.
Okay.
No, I have many. When my daughter said, "Mom, let's do this," I'm sitting in a restaurant writing on napkins, or
Wow.
finding pieces of paper and writing on pieces of paper, and then I collect them. I save them all. I have a drawer. I throw it all in, and then when it's time to get it all together, I collect all my material that I've written, and then I piece it together. That's how it works.
So it's like a patchwork quilt, if you will.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because it don't always comes
Yes.
in one piece sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I could be driving along the highway, and boom, there it comes.
Wow.
You know.
I've been driving along the highway, had to pull over and turn the radio down.
Yeah.
Lord speaking to me.
Yeah.
Now. Isn't that interesting? And you know, I often say, Reverend Nelson, that creativity sometimes have a mind of its own.
Yeah, I think creativity is not something that we conjure up.
No.
It's innately a gift from God, in my opinion. Who is the master creator, if you don't mind my saying. And that master creator, because he lives in us, we have his attributes. So that creative genius of God, he blesses each of us with it.
Yes.
And it's up to us to expose what God has put in us.
Yes, because it's in us. Sometimes it's just a matter of listening, being still and listening. And that brings me to this poem I'd like to share, simply entitled, Born to be Blessed. On the wings of faith from heaven on high, you need to know that you can make it if you try. Life will always put faith to the test. Through it all, you got to know you're born to be blessed. But success is not yours to have in the first degree without challenge, setbacks, and long life the adversity. The day you were given breath of life is the day you were born and blessed with a divine birthright. When in your heart you know you're born to win, you can never lose the sense of who you are within. The reality of a dream come true is based on faith, focus, and follow through. To know you're born from the seed of success is to know your soul, in your soul, that you're born to be blessed. For on the wings of faith on high, on the wings of heaven on high, you need to know that you can make it if you try. Born to be blessed. And we have to believe that we're born to be blessed.
My motivation is to inspire. My writings is to challenge people to think, to conjure up a conversation. That's why some of the things that are in my book, my daughter said, well, one thing I wrote, she said, did that happen to you? I said, no. I said, I just sat down one day and it all came. And I said, she said, well, Mom, how do you get your inspirations? I said, baby, they just come.
Yes.
And I say, and when a lot of them, I want to conjure up dialogue. We need to talk. We need to hear what each other's thinking. Not come over pious and like, you've got the answer. All of us have self-worth, and all of us have something that needs to be heard.
In other words, all of us have a story. We
think
all have stories to
we
tell.
all have stories, not alone stories, but we all have something that's worth being said.
Yes.
And that's the premise behind my writings.
Wow. Because whenever I read your writings, there's always a spiritual essence there. There's always a great spiritual essence. It's like, wow. Like I was reading some this week, I'm like, I didn't think of it like that. But that's what we're supposed to do. Because everybody's not in everybody's head. So we share the positives. We share the motivation. We share the education of our own personal education, if you will, our own experience. And that's the beauty of what you do. That's the beauty of what writers do.
I want every human being that walks the planet Earth to feel a sense of self-worth. It's not based on what you've done, how low you've gone down on the totem pole. There's greatness in you, and the purpose of my writing is to conjure up the energy within them to realize I don't have to be where I am. I don't have to stay where I am. I am God's child, and I can rise above my situation. So that motivates me.
Reverend Nelson, let's hear a piece from you. I know you got a lot there.
Okay, this piece is called Me. Monkey see, monkey do. That's not God's intent for me. Me, I'm unique. I need to see. God only made one person called me. Me, myself, me, the I. Me that can't be denied. Me that can't be hid. Me that's got to rise. Me that stays in stride. Me, a unique individual fashioned by God. challenged to burst at the seams for his glory, because he has empowered me, endowed me with so much. Though sometimes the me that I am may appear to be mean, God in me, how can I dare? It's not complicated to see. There is a cross I must bear. No, I desire. No, I determine. No, I aspire. No, I'm convinced beyond doubt. I accept my cross. Me, unique, divine impartation, destined to yield the power of God that will erupt in and out of me. So monkey see, monkey do. God got too much in me to try to be like you. Me, distinct, not a duplicate. I'm confident that I have purpose that only I can carry out. I am unique. God, the original creator, not a carbon copy, did he make me. Me, I'm special and I'm so grateful. Me, I'm busting with pride because I know unequivocally that God is on my side.
How beautiful. Woo! Sis, you're going to make me say amen up in here this Saturday. I'm getting started early. Lord have mercy. Woo! Lord have mercy. What made you write that particular piece?
I don't know, Dan. It just came one day.
What were you doing?
I don't remember. I have no idea what I don't know the year that I wrote it. I just started thinking about we live in a society where everybody wants to be like everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to follow the trend. Nobody wants to be unique. You're criticizing because you're criticized because you are unique.
Yeah.
You're criticized because you're different. You're criticized because you're not dressing in the style and fitting everybody else's mode. And I want to let people know that it's okay to be me, because that's who God created. He didn't make you to be a carbon copy of nobody else.
Now that's the truth.
Yes.
Wow. Brings me to a piece simply entitled, If You Don't Love You. Until you first learn to love self, you will never know what it is to love somebody else. And those little things can mean a lot. How can you give what you haven't got? And until you take the power of your soul to mind, matters of the heart are just a waste of time. And when you don't have the slightest clue, how can you love anybody if you don't love you?
That's on point, man.
I got to keep it
point.
real.
That's on point.
What I always loved about your sermons, what I always loved about your work is that, and then the title of your book, Raw. Why Raw? That's what I loved about it, because I said, when Jackie comes, she going to bring it raw.
Yeah, my
You don't cut no corners now.
my daughter put that word raw up there, which means relevant and wise writings.
Right.
That's what raw is. And life experiences will teach you if you let it. Life experiences will destroy you if you let it.
But sometimes you have to be raw for some folk to get that kind of message, because some people don't know what it means to really keep it real. And you can't do that unless you know yourself, and unless you know God. You got to know yourself.
Well,
You gotta love who you are.
My thing is, Danny, communication is key.
Yes, it is.
And no matter how experienced, how many lessons you've learned from your life experiences, and you reach out to help others, you have to be very careful the approach you take, because it took you time to get where you've become.
Yes,
And
you
you've
are.
got to allow others to take the time they need to get to where they need to be.
Yes.
You know, some of us we're like, oh, you know, you ever seen an ex-smoker? You ever talk to an ex-smoker? When they were smoking, it was cool. Now they stopped smoking, they tearing everybody else down.
Yeah, that's
cigarettes.
true.
You know, but you
That's
can't
true.
do that because it took you time.
But you want everybody else to
reach
get it
your
overnight.
goal. So you've got to give people time, because God gives us time.
But you know
Thank
what?
God for that.
That's interesting, because sometimes in our Christian walk, in our faith walk, we like babies.
Yeah.
You want everybody, you done did everything in the world, and all of a sudden, you all holy and thou, you point the finger at other people.
Right, which means you're just as bad as the people you're pointing the finger at.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. So it takes time. I mean, I always say everybody don't go to sleep at the same time. Everybody don't wake up at the same time. And sometimes some folk don't wake up at all. I mean, spiritually. You know, that's what I see.
I doubt that people, because I want to come back on that. Everybody doesn't wake up spiritually, but yes, they do, because the God that created them is within them. So they hear the essence of God is in us.
They don't always act
this
on it.
is not based on what you call yourself, Muslim, Christian, Catholic.
Yes, that's why I said faithful.
That has nothing to do with what you call yourself. The fact that God put His essence in us when He created us, so we're all connected.
One way.
The thing is, you gotta gel that connection, and once you gel it, God is with you. I don't care where you are.
What label you put it on.
What you doing? He's with you.
Yes.
Yes.
That's important. That's important.
You wonder how Tupac can live being shot up all those times. You wonder how 50 Cent can live after being shot up, because the God that created him is in him.
Yes.
And then we cannot judge people based on how they live. That ain't for you to say. We don't have a heaven or a hell to put nobody in.
Yeah, come
God's got the final say.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I'm glad you put it that way.
Yeah.
That goes back to raw and real.
Yeah.
Brings me to the wings of a natural high. If you're not afraid to try, there ain't no way life can pass you by. Because when you know who you are, you can fly on the wings of the wind. But you got to know you got the power within. And so long as nothing beats a failure but a try, let me live my life on the wings of a natural high. I've been down, but I ain't never been out. And I've hit rock bottom enough times to know what I'm talking about. Somewhere beyond and above, the breath of life is God's gift of love. Through all pain, heartbreak, and strife, I'm simply hooked on the high of life. And so long as nothing beats a failure but a try, let me live my life on the wings of the natural high.
All right.
Real.
You don't need no weed for that.
It's all good. Yes, come on with it. Yes.
Your A and your D will relieve the P. Attitude is everything. How you feel, how you see it. If you will or will not deal with it. Should you or shouldn't you? Could you or couldn't you? Want to or don't want to? If you can fix it or need to leave it alone. Does it really matter or not? Will it make things better or worse? Can I handle it or not? A decision must be made. What side of the coin will you choose? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Winning will help you, and losing can too. I get the winning part, feelings of exuberance and confidence. I'm inspired to keep moving forward, ready for my next challenge. But the losing part, feelings of devastation, disappointment, and uncertainty. Not excited about what's ahead. The thought of quitting is a mainstay. These emotions are real, I can't deny. Winning has you on a high, and losing has you on a severe low. Either way, win or lose, it will take work on your part to adapt to both. So your ego won't deceive you when you win, and your loss won't overwhelm you. OMG. All of this causes me to stress out. Problem identified. Pressure. Attitude. Adjustment. Pressure. The work. Decision making. Pressure. The work. Attitude adjustment. Will I win the battle within me or let it defeat me? Decision making. Will it be an upward ascent or a downward spiral? One's ability to adjust their attitude and make concrete decisions are inseparable. So your A, attitude, catapults your decision. Align them properly and you will relieve the pressure.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. Where'd that come from, sis? I mean, it all came from the Creator, but what were you, was that inspired by a sermon or something you heard?
It just came then. As I say, I could be looking at TV, looking at the world situations on the news, holding a conversation. They just
Is it-
come and I just write.
Is it life imitating art or art imitating life?
Life imitating art or art entertaining.
Or is it both?
It can be both.
Mhm.
I can't put a pin on it.
Mhm.
You know, I can't
Yeah.
say, I could walk out this door today and something would
See.
just drop.
Mhm.
And I get my paper and my pen and I write.
So we're the vessel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the creative vessel.
We're
I know
God.
people vessel.
We're the mouthpiece.
Mhm. What comes through that?
And
that
I'd
spirit.
rather be a beacon light of hope
Mhm.
and encourage people and let them know you can make it.
Mhm. If
But you
try.
gotta try. You gotta try. You gotta put the work in. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what, it's like addictions. Your addiction just didn't start.
Mhm.
Either you were introduced or you were playing.
Came from somewhere.
And it came from somewhere, and
Yeah.
you found that what started out to be fun and for pleasure has now inundated your life, and it's kind of like captivated you where you've lost control.
Now, whether that somewhere was inward or outward, it came some kind of way.
Again, decisions.
Yes.
Nobody. There are instances where people force people to do things.
Yes. Mhm.
But for the most part, it's our decision making.
It's an inside job.
And if your attitude is not right, that will cause you to make misjudged decisions,
Mhm.
which will
Wow.
add on pressure.
As well. Yes.
But as I said in this poem I just read, your attitude and your decision will relieve the pressure.
Mm.
You know.
That's the title.
Yeah. It says the title is your A
And it-
and your D will relieve the P.
And you
And
broke
A
it down.
is your attitude, D is your decision, and based on that, it will help relieve the pressure.
And you broke it down in that poem.
Yes.
Mm. Well, while you're looking, I want to say something. Oh, also I want to talk about this before I forget. The beautiful covers you have in your book. Who's responsible for that?
My daughter,
Wow, Charlene.
Right House Publishing.
Wow. Oh,
Right House
beautiful.
Publishing, Washington D.C.
Wow, that cover.
Yes, I'm
when I
sorry.
seen that cover, this captured me.
Yes.
And then the new book also, Raw. I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. Look, she know how to put stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Now, there's another piece that I want you to share, but I'm going to go here to a piece that I want to share as well. No, you go ahead first, and then I'll
Okay.
come. Is there a story? Is there a story behind this piece?
Yes.
I know there's always a story.
This one, you know, all of us aspire to be successful.
Of course.
And when we reach that plateau of success, you know, African Americans, the first thing they do when they win a Grammy or whatever, they thank God first.
Yeah.
And they're criticized for that, you know, and by other cultures that don't understand
that.
us, that we as a people,
They
God
don't.
is first. So this poem writing came from the fact God being first. And
yes.
it's called, It's Him, Not You.
Wow.
You prayed and people were touched. After the service, they told you so, and you said, thank you so much. You sang a song, and the people were slain. They made it their business to echo your name. You preached a good message, and oh, how the crowd rose to their feet. The altar jam-packed, oh, what a victory. Satan is defeated. All of this is new and fresh to you, and you are humbled as you can be. Every chance you get giving God glory. Time moves on and you productively grow in God. But later comes the breakdown and you forgot whose path you're called to trod. Phone call upon phone call, calls from everywhere. Come pray, sing, preach, give a revival, we don't care. Notoriety, fame, and fortune have a way of manifesting a spiritual abortion. If you're not careful, you will miss it all and be caught up in self-absorption. This can happen to the best who started out sincere in heart. But monsters of attention or self-will cause you to forget God. So keep this in mind in all that you do. People will and are going to respond to what God does through you in response to their own lives. God through you spoke to their circumstance and they began to see. A brand new day has come and I can walk in victory. Those who were touched by your encounter with you will come and tell you so. But please, for goodness sake, don't let it inflate your ego. Remember, you're not omniscient. God is. It's the working of the Holy Spirit that knows the mind of God and the hearts of men. Always acknowledge it's God and understand it's a privilege that God is using you. Yes, encouragement from time to time, I agree, is needed. But take it with a grain of salt and let it elevate your thoughts. If it weren't for Him, where would you be? And give God the praise you ought. It's Him, not you, to whom all praise is due.
Wow. I am because God is. Because of the God force within me, He is mine and I am His. For I am what I am, all because God is. God is my Heavenly Father from up on high and above. He's the light of all light and the spirit of heavenly love. And when I find that I'm in need of heaven's intensive love and care, I just bow my head and whisper a prayer. And when light suddenly smiles upon me with a frown and all my ups start to look down, I put my trust in God because He's always around. My God is forever mine as I am eternally His. For I am what I am, all because God is.
It's Him.
Yes.
Not you.
God. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
When you think about it, I mean, it's just, you have to move with what God has given you.
Right.
And sometimes we're afraid because we don't know ourselves. You know, all too often. You know?
You say, I've noticed you said that a lot. Know yourself. Know yourself. What do you mean by that, Danny?
Know that the spirit that God has put in you, and to know who you are as an individual. Like you said earlier, sometimes people are so caught up into following other people and trends and stuff that they don't know them. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel.
And really, this starts from the time you birth your children, and as they grow up, it's wonderful to feed positivity into our children.
Yes.
Not to have them get big egos, but to raise them to be confident, but humble. That's the key.
Yeah, that's definitely the key. That's, in fact, I say that's the master key there, because a lot of times we don't get that. And negativity doesn't go anywhere. You know, it's you have to be positive. You have to. I believe in positive motivational affirmations, if you will. That means a lot. You have to program yourself for success sometimes. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself. My grandmother said you talk to yourself, but when you answer yourself, that's a whole nother deal.
Well, you know, I answer myself a lot.
Really?
Because I find if you can't be, there's a saying, to thyself be true.
Yes.
If you can't be true to yourself, you can't help nobody else.
Well,
self-deception is a very serious thing.
Well, the Egyptians said, man, know thyself. So that's important too. Yeah, it is. There's another piece you want to share. At this time, there's something else I was thinking about also. In terms of your books, where can we get your books? That's what I was thinking.
Right now, you can order them on, oh Lord have mercy. You can order them online.
Okay.
You can get them online, and you can also do my website, www.fullcircle202.com.
Okay.
And you can also email me at revjackie@fullcircle202.com. And we will get those books to you.
Now, also, you speak many other places as well. So how can people, want to invite you to come speak? And how can we do that as well?
You can, my email is jndianne48@gmail.com.
Okay.
If you're interested in having me come to speak and to do a workshop or to preach for you.
Now, you've done many workshops over the years. Yeah. What's that like in your workshop?
Oh, it's my joy.
Really?
I love it. I love doing workshops because it's very personable. I love teaching Bible class because it's very personable. When you're in church hearing a sermon, you can't ask the question. You just absorb what's being heard. But in a class setting, you can put forth your questions and get them answered.
Now, you taught a class, or you teach a class through the Bible in a year?
Yeah, I taught that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm not teaching that anymore. I'm teaching this class, God
As well.
Speaks, We Listen, with my
Are they related?
Yes, because it's about the Bible in which I preach and teach from, and the things that I've learned through it, yes.
Okay.
Because if you get this book, you can take that Bible and verify what's being said in this book.
So there's a close correlation between the two.
Yes, it is.
Now also, you are a recording artist as well. You did a CD some years ago. Can you tell us about the CD and the name of it?
Well, my CD, Jewels for You to Treasure,
Yes.
is
Still available?
It's the beginning, yes. It's the beginning of some of the writings that I did. My daughter said, Dr. Charlene Scott said, Mom, we're going to record your writings and get them out there. And my first CD was recorded, I think, in 2002.
Okay.
Jewels for You to Treasure, which has all my writings on it.
Is there another CD in the works? Because that was beautiful. Beautiful thing.
There could
Absolutely
possibly be.
I certainly hope so. Now, will you do some singing also later on? Because anybody watches who know you know that Reverend Jackie can sing and will sing.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Let's just wait and see.
Okay,
I don't want to put
great.
anything out there to make people think they've got something
Never
to
say
look
never.
forward to.
Yeah.
But we'll just see.
Yes, of course. I want to see both. I want to see some more poetry, some more writing.
And
all of that.
I'm in the process of getting more writings together. I'm doing that now.
Okay, new book coming soon?
A new book coming. I don't know about soon, but it's coming.
It's all good.
Yeah.
There's a piece that you wanted to share.
There's so many good things. This is a short one. Consider. You take the good that we see and minimize that. You take the bad that we see and magnify that. And eventually find yourself in the wrong place with the wrong person doing the wrong thing, convincing yourself that it's right. What's the motivator? Your wants and self-gratification, not considering the consequences for your action, walking and functioning in the blind. Consider.
Wow, and that's something to consider. Again, one of those messages that just came to you. Yeah. Somebody prayed for me. I was born and raised in a hole in the wall, but the prayers of the righteous blessed me with a wake-up call. When I knew not the words of prayer, the love of the Lord for me was always there. Somebody prayed for me. When I couldn't do it all on my own, somebody's prayer gave me joy like I've never known. When I didn't know where to go or what to do, somebody somewhere knew how to get a prayer through. Somebody prayed for me. Those who shared and cared didn't let me stand alone, though I was born on a dead-end street with no place to call home. But with prayer from the homeland of the soul, my faith in God only made me whole. Somebody prayed for me. Through thick and thin, God always sends a sure sign that through faith and work, joy will come in the morning time. For the blessings of the divine prayer every day, God give me peace of mind to help me find my way. Yes, Lord, somebody prayed for me.
Right.
And somebody prayed for all of us at one time or another. Whether you knew it or not.
I think of that all the time when I look back over my life as a youngster and some of the things I was doing. I know somebody prayed for me was the reason it didn't get the best of me.
What were you like as a young person, Brother Jackie?
As a young person, I was very insecure, Danny. Shy, not confident
Shy,
at all.
yeah, that was me.
But
Yeah.
I'm totally the opposite of that person.
Wow.
And to the extent sometimes I'm shy now. People don't buy that, but there are some shy qualities to me.
I know when you're speaking one-on-one in person, you're one way, but when you on that pulpit, woo, Lord, you talking about raw. I said, oh my God.
Yeah, that's a whole different element.
That's a whole nother element. That's a whole nother part of who you are as an individual.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on assignment, that God has put something in me that he wants somebody to hear. You know, if it's just one person, all of the hundreds, I've done my job. You know?
And that's part of your mission. That's part of your ministry.
Yeah, it's not about the numbers with me. If I can reach somebody shopping for groceries in the store, or just meet somebody as I'm sitting in the park. I mean, it's not about the massive display or the big numbers. It's about being available to be God's mouthpiece no matter where I am.
And make a difference in one person's life.
Yes.
Because that one person could reach hundreds of thousands more.
Yes.
Yes. What do you tell the young people?
What do I what?
What do you tell the young people who hear your
I-
ministry that you come in contact with?
My mission for the youth is to just make them feel that they matter. My job is, I feel like I'm a hugger by nature. That's my automatic. Everybody needs love. You know, I was rejected a lot as a young person. So my motivation is to always make our youth feel like they matter.
Yes.
Because
that's
the
number
feeling
one.
of rejection is an awful feeling. And I feel like the young people are our future, and that we that are older need to relate to the young people and understand where they're going, not judge them. Because in our day, we did some crazy
Stuff
things.
too. Yeah, we did some stuff.
You know, and
did.
instead of criticizing our youth, just love up on them, because they all want love.
Yes,
You know,
everybody
these
needs
kids today, they don't respect you, you know. Just love them.
They need love.
And they know who love them.
And
They know
who
who's
don't
real,
care.
and they know who's
They know
fake.
who don't care.
You know, yeah. So
Wow.
the young people are very important in it.
Wow. Do it for the children. And the love of every man, woman, boy, and girl. You can find the key to the heart of the world for each and every one. Got to find a better way to do what some say just can't be done. Do it for the children and all that you do and say. Do it for the children. A lifetime of love got to be a better way. Do it for the children. Teach the children the truth. The innocence of a child is a seed of truth for all to see. Teach the children the truth. They're the fruit of the family tree. There's so much the world needs that there's just too little love. But all we really got to do is give a little more love. Do it for the children and all that you do and say. Do it for the children. A lifetime of love got to be a better way. Do it for the children. Teach the children
Yes,
the truth.
yes. Our children need to see an example.
Because they ain't always following what you say.
But they're watching.
They're watching.
They're watching
And they're
what you
listening.
do.
Sometimes
yes.
when you don't think it, I got a little nephew.
Yes.
Sometimes he say things. I'm like, me and my sister be talking, and he'll say something, and I look at my sister one. And I said, I didn't even know he was listening to us.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was paying attention.
Our children are paying a lot of attention, and they're really watching. And our young people, one thing I've learned, I'm not scared of our youngsters. It could be a
You can't be.
crowd of young men on the corner where I live. I walk up, I say, hey babies, how y'all doing?
They respond.
And I don't care how much of a roughneck they think they are. Hi ma'am. You know, I wrote a writing. Youngin', I recognize what you bring.
Come on with it.
You touch my sensitivity. You pulled at the strings of my heart. I may be seasoned and a bit set in my ways, but the glow of your youthful wisdom will always brighten my day. Keep on striving to relate, because we're always listening. We have no fear, and we got your back. It's a joy having you around. Your new perspectives we embrace as we see that smile of confidence on your face. What a thrill in knowing you hold the seasoned dear. That gives us assurance that the future looks bright. If your wisdom inspires you to share, you have embraced the master of it all. The fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Youngin', stay with God. He will do you good.
Oh, wow, how beautiful. That's a great message for young people. Really, really is, Reverend Jackie. I want you to talk about this. Now, you know, I had this for a long time. So please talk about that.
Okay, this is a CD, our first CD, the Nelson family. Of course, my oldest daughter, Charlene, and my son, Neil, who is deceased now, got together and collaborated on this project.
Hold it to the camera so we can
And
see.
our first CD had the song Everlasting Love, and on the other side it's Praise the Lord. Everlasting Love was written by Charlene, arranged and produced by Charlene and my son Neil. done in Harbor Light Studio in 1987. That's where it all began with the Nelson family. And Charlene and Neil are songwriters and producers. And
Great
my
songwriters.
youngest daughter at the time was like 12 or 13 years old when we
she was that young?
started. And she is now singing, a singer in her own right. She writes as well as help produce. So this just goes to show you how God can start a path, and you know, a child will lead them. My children took the helm, and I just rode along.
Wow, that's beautiful. Also, we got to tell people also, Reverend Jackie. Now, inside of here, take that up, hold that up.
What?
This is because a lot of people look nowadays. They say, "What's that?"
This is a 45. We used to have record players back in the day. Had
That's
three
right.
speeds: 33 and a third, a 78, and a 45. And based on the size of the wax, that's how the record was played.
You know, I want you to say that because a lot of young people looking now, because we in so many different mediums, CDs, MP3s, and all, a lot of young people looking and say, "Well, what is that?"
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what it's not. It's not one of Donna Ross earrings. It's a 45. See, because I come up during the time, Rev Jackie, when we had, well, I was a kid, when we came up with, what was it, the long playing, what's called in the car, what do you call it?
CDs.
No, before CDs.
Eight track. I had a
when I was a
whole
kid.
lot of those 8 tracks.
Yeah, you have to wait an hour for your favorite song to come around and then be clicking, click, click like that.
Yes.
See, young people don't know that. So that's why I wanted you to talk about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a long.
That's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Put that on the screen again, brother, so we can see
That's where it
this.
all began for the Nelson family. And as my children grew older and they started going their different paths, unfortunately, with Neil passing, we can do something for the Nelson family, but it won't be the same because his voice is really missed.
Miss his voice.
I
I miss his voice.
All of them are talented in their own right.
Always have been. I told you what Neil was doing when I come to the temple. He's playing them drums. He was little. And so that's why when Neil and I, you know, as a drummer myself, we always click. He said, "All right, Dan, we can get together. We can hang out all day." I said, "All right, call me Neil." And I mean, it's just, because I seen him as a little child and I admired him. I said, "I don't know who that little boy beating them drums like that." And I noticed in the church at that time, all the kids, they didn't mess with the piano so much or the guitar. They go to the drums. And they'd be, at the service, they'd be beating on the drums. What is it about the drum that attracts people?
I don't know. I think back when I was carrying Neil and Charlene, telling my age now, you know, the House of Prayer used to have their annual parade, and the bands would go all over the neighborhoods. And I love the sound of the horns and all that, but when those drummers got their opportunity to do their solos, when I was pregnant with her and him, and it was like I just wanted to absorb that rhythm, and I think from that birthed something in my children. Because they have that same. And Neil, when he was 3 years old, he was playing the bongos. Couldn't even hold them in his leg.
He wanted to play.
But he would play, and they would. He played so hard and good that they fall out his legs, and he just put it back up and go back. You know, so it just goes to show.
What I better, he used to play so hard. That's like, oh my goodness. He has that spirit on those instruments, you know.
God has blessed my children, and to God be all the glory for what He's done and what He's doing through them.
Yes.
You know.
Oh man, that's just, you got me up into, girl. Let me get a tear in my eye, because I'm remembering, and I'm going back, you know, being interested in music myself, you know, and writing as well. But you're singing. You haven't talked much about y'all singing, because y'all, it seems like people who are siblings, who are family, they have a certain
unique family sound.
Family sound. There it is right there, Reverend Jack.
Right. You can tell.
Yes.
I can tell if somebody's related to somebody based on their vocal ability and how they sound. And I remember I heard this young man, and I heard his brother, and I never met this other young man. So I said to this young lady, "Are they relatives?" She said, "Yes, they're brothers."
Oh,
so that
knew
that familiarity
how'd you know?
In the tone.
So you can hear the tone.
In the tone, yes.
Wow.
Just like the Pace sisters.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
the Clark sisters.
Clark sisters, yes,
You
another
know,
one.
the Williams brothers. You know,
You
it's
can
something
hear.
about that family.
Something that's genetic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you guys had it as well.
Thank God.
Yeah. Because I would hear it. I said, how is that? It's like the harmony. I don't know how to explain it. It's like the harmony. It's like a natural blend. It's like, how do they do that? If you had a group, that's not to say, I mean, if you had another group of people who weren't necessarily family, you can tell the difference. I mean, that may be beautiful harmony, but you can see and feel the difference. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you would say that, because I've noticed that over the years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that God grants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like to us, to God, we're all precious in His sight. It's us that divides us, not God. Because God loves each of us as much as He loved the other.
Wow.
And God doesn't divide His love with this culture or that culture, this race or that race.
Love is love.
He loves us all. He created us all. And what grieves my heart is the lack of love we show for people, period.
In general, yes.
You know,
Wow.
people matter.
Yeah, but what's the title of this piece you want to share
It's
with us?
called The Influential Gift of Music. Music, vocals, lyrics, instrumentation, major, minor chords, common meter, crescendo, syncopation, modulate, invert, played in various keys, derived by all those notes. It can put you on edge, bring you to your knees. It can make merry the heart, sometimes can be very dark. The various genres of music are powerful, always has a message that will stay in your mind, that melody in your head, the words that are said. It makes you want to sing along because you know the song. Don't forget the beat. It gets you on your feet, makes you clap your hand, find a partner and dance. It's a motivator too, can influence what you do. Music is very accommodating. It's designed just for you. Country, jazz, blues, rhythm and blues, classical, gospel, rock, opera, reggae, hip hop, bluegrass, whatever you choose, whatever your choice may be. It's soulful renditions all wrapped up in a feeling to meet you at the point of your need. This will always provoke a response. That's my jam. That's my cut. It will take you down memory lane with all its joy and pain. My dear musicians, I have a word for you. There's nothing wrong with being compensated for your musical abilities. As you already know, a lot of money can be made. You can go from rags to riches, a no name to fame, but be cautious that the sacrifice you make won't come back and bite you later. Music is powerful. It's like a surgeon with a scalpel, a carpenter with a saw, a farmer tilling the soil, a hunter with a rifle, or a preacher with a Bible.
Come on.
Be a master at what you do. God has blessed and endowed you with a gift. Your gift was given to you. You didn't give it to yourself. So don't let the big head get you off track. Always surround yourself with people who will help you keep your feet on the ground. Be on alert for the suck-ups. They only want to bring you down, to use you to their advantage. Don't be gullible when they want to give you a contract. Don't let them pimp you. Have what they want when they try to fast talk you. Always remember to stay focused and keep it real. Tell them, we can talk when I get my own legitimate entertainment lawyer. Then and only then can we make a deal. Of course, they can help further your career, but you're not coming empty-handed. You have what they want, or you wouldn't be sitting at the table. Musicians, don't abuse your gift. Don't forget the gift giver and what he put in you. He put it there so he could be glorified by by you. When life is complete and all is said and done, I know you want the gift giver to say, well done. Enter into heaven and dwell eternally with me, where your music will forever be enjoyed, as you will daily praise me.
Beautiful. Music. Thinking about music and thinking about hometown music, the beauty, I like to do this as tribute to the late great Chuck Brown.
Okay.
Speaking of music. And it's simply entitled The Godfather of Gogo, a tribute to Chuck Brown. Chuck soul-searching, bustin' loose Brown is the undisputed godfather of the go-go sound. As the brightest star on the Go-Go Walk of Fame, you gave the homegrown groove a national name. The way you wind me up, I know it's your pleasure. And as DC's native son, you're a national treasure. You put the trouble in the funk for all to see as the godfather of Go-Go in the first degree. As the rare essence of what Go-Go's around, you are the host in the house of the DC sound. Latin rhythms, jazz, soul, and a non-stop beat. As the other roots of Go-Go with a call and response from the street. If it ain't got the Go-Go groove, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got the Go-Go swing. As an indigenous icon of classic Go-Go soul, you have a feel for the music that never grows old. Through Experience Unlimited as a master music man, you're the great godfather of Go-Go all over the land. You put the soulful funk in it for all to see as the godfather of Go-Go in the first degree. P.S. Show you right. That's a piece I wrote for Chuck, and I gave him when he was living. I did this piece about 10 years before he passed, and I gave him this beautiful plaque. It was trimmed in gold and lavender around the side, and then I did another piece for him after he passed called "Wind Me Up, Chuck." So I love the music. I love all kinds of music.
Yes.
I love everything. Now some folk think you can't get to heaven unless you listen to gospel music.
Please.
Speak on that, Jack.
Please. I mean, music is the cocaine, the marijuana, the heroin, all the alcohol, all these vices we use to pump us up. Music does the job. Music can, as I said, build you up or bring you down.
Yes.
I think it's one of God's greatest gifts. And
It's
what I
music.
love about music, you see the talent and the skills of all cultures.
Yes, come through music.
You know, and you can
Love it.
appreciate everyone's culture based on the talent that they bring.
Yeah.
You know, so you see God in everything. And music to me is, and what I love about it is the diversity, the talent, all the hundreds of thousands of people that can sing and write and act, and even from sports entertainment, God gifts all of us to really be a blessing to the masses.
Yes.
You know,
And the things that sometimes songwriters write about, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's historical. There's many different types of songs, many different types of songwriters. And as a poet, I learned from songwriters as well.
and sometimes it's whack.
Sometimes
I
it's
was
whack.
talking to one of my goddaughters. I said one of Aretha's greatest hits was when she wrote, "You're a liar, you're cheating, but I ain't never loved a man the way
way I
that
love
I
you."
love you." I mean, that was one of her greatest
That was
hits.
poetry.
You know, but
Yes.
if you look at the lyrics,
Yes.
you want to take another route because you're
Yes.
a liar, you're a cheat.
But it's real.
Yeah.
What you talking about is real.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
music is a good tool, and I think
Wow.
I think you need to keep an open mind.
Yes. And as a vocalist yourself, you know that. You feel that lyric. So for you as a vocalist, how important is the lyric?
The lyric is major. The beat I like, but if I don't understand what you're
You feeling
saying,
that lyric? Yeah.
I can't relate. I can't get with your beat if I don't understand your lyrics.
Yeah.
I got to know
Has
what words are you putting in my mind. I've got to understand that, and then once I hear your lyric, I can get with your beat.
But it has to say
because your
something.
lyric makes sense to me.
Yes, a lyric has to make sense.
Yes.
A poem to me has to make sense.
Yes.
And we talked about music, so that also brings me to my latest CD. It's simply entitled Up Close and Personal. And you can get it everywhere where music is sold, up close and personal. People say, "Oh, you sang?" No, I didn't sing, but I did write and produce it, and I'm thankful to the people who helped me to put it together, helped me produce it, Rashad Young. And it's up close and personal, and it's by, the artist is Bon Paris. And you can get it everywhere where music is sold. So I just wanna thank you for sharing that wisdom that you shared, because music is a very powerful idiom, if you will. Sometimes it's abused. You know, when you look at how sometimes we abuse music, and but there's so much there we can do with that art form. And I think sometimes we don't realize how powerful music really is.
Yes.
It's a very powerful medium, if you will. There's a piece I'd like to share and dedicate to all the sisters. It's simply entitled Divas, Divinely Inspired, Victoriously Anointed Sisters. After you've given it all you've got, being a classic woman, who do you think you are not? As the divinely inspired, victoriously anointed sisters of self-worth, life has forever crowned you, queen divas of all the earth. When the truth moves, all who have a heart to hear it, it can give new life to the mind, body, and spirit. When you're in touch with the inner essence of self, every exit is an entrance to place else, somewhere beyond what was, what is, and how you feel. Your inner foresight has the power to heal, and the divinely inspired, victoriously anointed sisters of self-worth, life has forever crowned you, queen mothers of all the earth, divas. Knowing who you are, once again. You know, not going by what people say. You know, you have to know as an individual who you are. You know, what would you like to leave as inspiration to not just young people, but to everybody who may be listening to this program? Because we've been talking about spirituality today, and sometimes people confuse spirituality with religion.
Not just spirituality, Dan. Just talk about life.
Love.
You are a human being that God has endowed with greatness. Know that. And your greatness is not measured by someone else's greatness. Remember, you are unique. God made the blueprint for you. I don't care if you got sons that look like you spit them out. They are unique. They may have some of your characteristics, but they are going to grow up to be uniquely who God has molded from the onset of what they should be. That's the point I want to leave. I want to just leave the fact that I don't want to just leave about spirituality and all like that. I just let you know that you are a creation of the Creator. He's endowed you with greatness. Walk in it.
Nothing more needs to be said other than that in terms of human beings and love. Love, yes. Once again, where can we get your books?
Again, you can go online and get it, my book, through Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Of course, again, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on my website, jndiane48@gmail.com. I enjoy what I do. I just love people. And I want to be a beacon light of hope for folks.
And that's the key right there. And so the book we've been reading most of the poetry from is Raw, and it means
relevant and wise writings
and
from
then
the pen of Reverend Jackie Nelson.
And then of course your other book, God Speaks,
my
We Listen.
Bible study tool is God Speaks, We Listen.
Beautiful, sister.
It's a hermeneutic study for spiritual maturity and growth.
Oh wow! And of course, it's produced by you and your daughter Charlene.
Yes.
Yes. Charlene's been on it. She voices you sometime.
She drops things that I don't even think about.
Wow.
You know, and
she said, "Mama, you need to do this."
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. Charlene's the oldest.
Huh?
Charlene's the oldest.
Yes, she is. She's my oldest.
Okay.
And Neil was the middle, and Sharice is the youngest.
Babe, Sharice is the baby. I remember Sharice used to sing in church. Oh, boy, man, Lord have mercy. And it's all part of growth, though. It really is, and that's the beauty of it. Reverend Jackie Nelson, we've been talking to the writer, poet, spiritualist, and singer, and beautiful spirit, and my sister, the Reverend Jackie Nelson. We thank you for coming and share with us today on Color Me Poetry. We look forward to having you back. And this time we're going to remember to bring all the CDs, everything that you have. Sister, I thank you for coming today and sharing with us on Color Me Poetry. I'm Danny Queen. Until next time, Color Me Poetry. I am, I can, and I will. Be at peace.
I am poetry.
I am the living experience. I am the lifelong truth. Color me the poetry of nothing but the truth.
Color me a love child lost in the promised land. I am a poem for black hearts going to meet the man.
I am not to be sold nor bought, so color me a scholar in the school of